All right, this is the Jenga lab. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sanitize my hands just to make sure that any germs on my hands don't get onto the lab equipment. All right, so the purpose in this lab activity, you will explore friction and how it affects your everyday life. So the directions. On the table, there will be a game of Jenga. Use your knowledge of friction to answer the questions below and give yourself an advantage when playing the game. All right, so the first question is what factor or factors, if any, affect the amount of friction being applied to the block being removed when playing Jenga? So, like when you're removing it, well, what factors are affecting it? Now, so just think about what are the factors that affect friction? What affect friction? All right. Question number 2. If a block won't move without tipping the tower over when pushed with an applied force, what variable is causing the static friction to be so large? Explain how this is happening. So if I find one like, you can see that this block right here, well, if I'm moving it, for some reason, it's going to move the entire building. But a couple of them, like, well, this one is going to remove easily. So why is it that some of them are going to move the entire tower while some of them just remove pretty easily? All right. So the next question is, when removing a block, at what moment would the applied force to the block be the largest? So in turn causing the large force being applied to the tower. So hint, look at the friction graph. So if I'm removing a block, right? So if I'm pushing a block, I'm applying a force. I'm applying a force. I'm applying a force. Okay, now it's moving. At what point is the force that is being applied by the person pushing, when is that applied force going to be the largest? And you're going to have to look at that graph to determine that, right? So just at what point. All right. And the conclusion questions, well, what would be a better strategy when removing a block from the tower? Tapping the block repeatedly or removing the block in one motion? Explain your answer. So you're going to have a couple different strategies. So one of them, if I'm removing this block, maybe what I do is I tap it over and over and tap, 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 tap. And eventually it can be removed. Or would another strategy be to just, once it starts to move, let me find a loose one here. Like once it starts to move, just to remove it in one motion, one sliding motion like that. Which one is a better strategy, the tapping or removing it all in one motion? Explain your answer. Now, here's the last question. What would be a better strategy when removing a block from the tower while it was moving? So while that block is moving, what's a better strategy? Removing it very quickly or removing it slowly? Or does the speed that the block is removed even matter? Explain your answer. So if I put, well, I won't put that one back. If I'm removing, let's find it, here it is. This is a good one, right? So if I'm removing this one, right, what's a better strategy? Do it really, really slow, or like once I get it moving, to remove it really fast like that? Which one is a better strategy? All right, so last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little hand sanitizer on my hand just to re-sanitize my hands. And once again, this has been the Jenga lab.